Hey friends, welcome back to Survival Dispatch. I'm feeling a bit crafty, so today we're going to make a slingshot out of this piece of antler that I found in the woods, just in a buck antler shed. I already cut it basically to shape. I don't want to bore you with that. I used a hacksaw to cut off the tines and cut it to the approximate size and shape that I want. And now all we really need to do is do a little bit of rounding on the top, bottom to make it a little bit more comfortable in the hand so it doesn't cut our band. And attach some latex banding to it and kill some stuff. Deer antler dust has a very distinct smell. We've got it basically the shape that we need, rounded off here where our palm is going to be sitting on the handle, and chamfered here on the edges so that when we attach our band to it, it won't cut it, mar it, or any way, and won't make it prematurely break. And then I've cut a couple of knocks in here, a couple of indentions on each side, just so when we wrap it around there, it's going to be really snug and won't slip off the top and whack us in our eyeball. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this into basically thirds. This is about the size that we need right here. And each one of these strips here is going to give us 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. And we're just going to use some scissors here. Do not tell my wife that I took the kitchen scissors. I couldn't find any others. So we're going to cut these strips with the kitchen scissors, so don't squeal. So now that we've got our 2 bands here, we're going to use the 3rd band and we're going to cut this into 4 pieces. And those tiny little thin strips are going to be what we actually secure the bands to our slingshot with. And there we go. Real small little thin strip here. Lay our band across like so. Wrap it around so it goes into that groove that we carved with the bench grinder. Wrap it around. Once we wrap it over top of itself a couple times, it'll hold until I feel like I've got enough wraps on there. We don't want to make it too bulky. That's probably enough right there. So what I'll do now is I'll take it over my thumb, stick it through that space that I've created with my thumb. I'll do that once and twice, and that puppy's not going nowhere. Now all we really have to do is just trim these ends. I really enjoy using kind of scrap leftover materials for projects like this. I don't know what there is about it, just, you know, I'm not like a tree hugger or anything like that, but I do kind of believe in reusing and conserving resources. This, take for example, this workbench that I'm working on right here. This thing was created entirely out of driftwood that I found out of a lake. I used to live on a lake, and the cove that we lived in I called Treasure Cove because every time a storm came and strong winds came, all kinds of stuff would just wash up on shore, like full 16-foot long pieces of lumber, a canoe. The canoe that's above me right now washed ashore one time, and I found it sitting there. It had a couple of holes in it because it's a fiberglass canoe. Had a couple of holes, patched them up, and I've been riding that thing ever since for about 5 years now. Treasure Cove was good to me. That ought to work. Now we've got both of our bands secured to this bad boy. We've got to figure out how to make a pouch that'll hold our stone or our piece of steel shot, whatever we choose as our ammo. And I think I've got something laying around here we can use. Got some scrap leather off of an old work glove. This is a leather punch. that I've used for all kinds of miscellaneous projects. We're going to use the biggest one, I think, which is that guy right there, to get a couple of nice clean holes in our pouch. Center it up as much as we can. Give it a good squeeze. Get started. There we go. Yep, that works. So we got that through that side. And what we'll do, once we kind of get it oriented here, that's how we hold the slingshot. It needs to be turned a specific way, like that. We'll just double it over itself like this, and then we'll tie it off again with another one of those small little latex bands, and that will keep that secure there. So we need to figure out exactly how long we want our band to be. If we get it in here, pull back just like we would. I pull it back to the same contact point that I do when I shoot a bow, which is right underneath my cheekbone. Pull back. This band feels real loose. We could always double the bands up, but I don't think that's necessary. I think what we'll do is just kind of shorten them up, get a little bit more tension on them. Something right about there. So pretty short band, somewhere around like 6 inches or so. And then once we get about 5 or so wraps around there, we'll tie it off again. Same way we do everything else. We just trim off the excess. I used to shoot a slingshot all the time. That was one of my #1 pastimes as a kid. I have shot thousands and thousands of little steel shot out of a slingshot, and river rocks, pebbles, gravel out of the driveway. There's no telling how many times I have fired a slingshot, and I used to be pretty awesome. I don't know if I've still got it. It's a perishable skill, probably just like everything else. But we'll find out here real shortly. Awesome thing about practicing with a slingshot is it makes your archery game so much better. I shoot a slingshot exactly the same way that I would shoot a bow. I pull it back to the same contact point on my face, which is my right underneath my cheekbone. My draw is almost exactly identical. Pull it back to exactly the same spot every single time, and it's very consistent, and I shoot a bow exactly the same way. So after I trained on a slingshot from 5 years old, when I picked up a bow and arrow when I was maybe 15 or something like that, it was just second nature. Didn't have to think about it, and I was, boom, hitting targets immediately. No learning curve. Very inexpensive, easy way. Ammo is everywhere, rocks everywhere. You can buy the steel shot, which is much better. If you're gonna hunt with one of these, like hunt squirrels or something like that, then you'd probably wanna use some steel shot. The 1/2-inch ones are the way to go. They really pack a punch. But basically any little round pebble that you can find is gonna work just fine for target practice. And let's see how it shoots. Oh, first shot. So we still got it. Granted, it's only about 10, 15 yards away, something like that, but still, not bad. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, and I'm gonna keep practicing. Let it go. Whoa, good shot, Sage.
Again.
All right, try again.
I want to do it blindfolded.
You gotta try to pull it back a little bit further. No, you're not gonna do it blindfolded. You haven't hit the target without being blindfolded yet. You think you've mastered it after 2 shots? All right, go for it. You missed. Yeah, bullseye. Ooh, there it was.